Hello friends, I am Dr. P. K. Paul. Welcome to my channel. Let's think about life differently and change it. So friends, the book I will read today is called The Magic of Thinking Big. Before starting today's video, I inform you that the link of other chapters of this book will be given at description. You can view them from there. So let's begin. You become what you think you are. The matter is obvious. Human behavior is like an incomprehensible puzzle. Have you ever wondered if a store clerk might greet a customer, asking, "How may I help you?" while another may be completely ignored? Or maybe a gentleman opened the door respectfully while seeing another, "Why?" Or an employee may be eagerly obeying the orders of another person. Or one person, why is it that we listen attentively and ignore some completely? Look around you. You might see someone saying, "What's up?" or "What's up?" being used while giving enough importance to another person, saying respectfully, "Namaskar sir, Ajahn sir." Notice, you will see some people when you see them you get confidence, respect and devotion, and some people don't feel that way. On closer inspection, you'll notice that the most successful people are treated with the most respect. What is the explanation? The answer in one word: thinking. It is from thought that others see our attitude towards ourselves. With the same use. The use we feel we deserve is what we get in the real world. Attitudes create differences in behavior. He is as qualified as he is. He who suffers from inferiority remains trivial, insignificant. Because processes and reactions originate from states of mind. If someone feels inferior, he will behave similarly. Any attempt to evade or hide it can't cover the original thought. He thinks he is important. He cannot become important, does not matter. On the other hand, the one who thinks himself privileged is actually accomplished in yoga. To become important is to realize one's own importance. Tahaj Baki will also give importance to you. The logic goes something like this. As you think, so will work. As you act, others will treat you. Just like any other phase of your personal success program, gaining devotion is a very simple process. Before you can earn the respect of others, you must believe that you are worthy of that respect. Check that others will respect you as much as you respect others. Do you fear the people of Skid Row? Not at all. Why? Because they don't know how to respect themselves. Lack of self-respect makes them contemptible. Self-esteem is reflected in all actions. Now let's discuss some ways to increase self-esteem and gain respect from others. Make your appearance important. Making yourself feel important will pay off. Rule. Remember, looks speak. Your appearance should create a good impression about you. Make up your mind before stepping out of the house into the outside world. Wear the right clothes. A sloppy look won't do. Perhaps the most authentic typographic ad in the world, this ad was sponsored by the American Institute of Men's and Boys' Wear. This slogan should be hung in every office, restroom, bedroom, school in America. In an advertisement, the police say, "A little boy's clothes can tell which boy is naughty." It may be unfair to judge this way, but it is a fact. Young people are judged by their looks these days. After judging a boy in this way, it is difficult to change his attitude and attitude towards him. Take a good look at your son, through the eyes of his teacher, through the eyes of your neighbors. Is there anything in his appearance, clothing that could lead to misconceptions? Do you know for sure that your child looks like a good boy wherever he goes, wearing the perfect outfit? This ad was created especially for young children. But the same applies to adults. Read the ad again. Read again using the words "just you" instead of "your son", "your officer" instead of "his teacher", and colleagues instead of neighbors. Above your workplace, see yourself through the eyes of your colleagues. A clean look doesn't have to be expensive. Think of the slogan literally. The meaning will be like this: you will get good results. Remember that your self-importance will make you feel important. Wear proper clothing. If you think, use clothing as a weapon to build confidence to improve mood. An elderly psychology professor of mine used to give advice to students preparing for final exams. Be prepared for this urgent exam by dressing properly. New tie, ironed suit, polished shoes. If you look smart, you'll think like a growing man can. Professor Sir understood his subject very well. Your outward appearance affects the appearance of your mind. There's no denying it. How you look on the outside will affect how you think and feel. I heard that in the life of all small boys there is a hat party, i.e. with the help of hat they feel oneness with their favorite personality. I remember an experience my son David had during this hat episode. Suddenly one day he announced that he would become the Lone Ranger. The problem was, he didn't have a Lone Ranger hat. I explained to him in various ways, asked him to wear a different hat. He protested, "Dad, how am I supposed to think like the Lone Ranger without the Lone Ranger hat?" In the end, I was forced to buy him a hat. After getting that hat, he became a true Lone Ranger. Often this incident reminds us of the light of appearance in our thinking. Read this incident as proof of his brilliance. Anyone who has served in the military knows that wearing a uniform makes you feel like a brave soldier. When a woman wears a party dress, she really wants to party. Similarly, if an executive wears appropriate clothes, he feels like an executive. A salesman expressed this in his own words: "If you want to sell big, it's very important to look rich, and if you don't look rich, I can't feel rich in my heart." Your outer appearance speaks to you. Talk to others. Guess what others think of you. In theory, it may be said that people should look at their intelligence, not their appearance. But don't misunderstand. People judge you by your outward appearance. The first basis of evaluation is your appearance. And of all the time it takes to develop an idea, the idea created at first glance lasts the longest. One day I saw seedless grapes in the supermarket for 15 cents a pound. On the next table were the same grapes packed in beautiful polythene bags, priced at 35 cents per pound. I asked the boy who was weighing the goods what is the difference between 15 cents for 1 pound and 35 cents for 2 pounds of grapes. "Arjun," said the boy, "grapes packed in polythene look good and are selling double." Remember the example of the grape when selling yourself. The right package increases your chances of selling, again at a higher price. That is, the better your cover, the more recognition you will get. Tomorrow you will notice who gets more respect and priority in restaurants, buses, crowded streets, shops and offices. When people look at each other, perhaps immediately, perhaps subconsciously, they make a value judgment on the other. That's why when we see someone we say, "Ki hey Mac," and take someone else, use it like that. When I saw it, I respectfully said, "Arjun, sir." Yes, outward appearance is very important. Seeing well-dressed people is a good idea. The look says, he is an important personage. I am smart, wealthy and trustworthy. This gentleman is learned, respected. He knows how to give himself the respect he deserves, and I respect him. Seeing a person with an untidy appearance gives a bad impression. The person is a failure. This careless, incompetent, unimportant, very ordinary person, it is pointless to bother him, nobody cares about him. Whenever I preach, don't neglect your appearance. In training programs, I am often asked, looks are important, but where do I get the clothes I need to look important, to gain the respect of others? This is a complex puzzle indeed. I've thought about this a lot, but the answer is simple. Buy a few clothes at twice the price, memorize the words. Now put it to work. Whatever you wear, hat, coat, shoes, socks, suit, follow this rule. Quality is more important than quantity when it comes to appearance. Adhering to this intention will not only increase your self-respect, but others will also respect you. You will profit by buying half the amount of goods at twice the price. Reason 1. Your clothes will last twice as long, because they are twice as good and will retain their best quality for as long. 2. The style of clothes bought lasts longer. This is always the case. 53. You can get advice on this. A salesperson selling a $200 suit will be more interested in choosing the right outfit for you than a salesperson selling a $100 suit. Remember, your appearance speaks not only to you, but also to others. Dress in a way that says, this gentleman has self-respect. He is an important person. It has to be treated properly. Do justice not only to others, to yourself. Become good-looking. As you think yourself, so you will become. If your appearance makes you feel insignificant, then maybe you are really insignificant. If you feel small, you probably really are. Make yourself look good, you will feel really good, act like it. Make your work important. The story of the three masons is often told. Very good story, so let's remember it again. When asked, what are you doing? The first mason replied, making a brick. The second person said, earning $9.30 an hour. A third said, I am founding the best church in the world. What happened to those masons later in life is not told in the story. What do you think? It is possible that the first two kings were masons all their lives. They had no foresight. They did not respect their work enough. There was nothing in them that could make their lives successful. But the mason who called himself the builder of a great church probably became a foreman or contractor or architect in later life. Why was he able to advance? Because his thinking made him successful. The third Masonic thought found ways of self-development in his work. Attitudes toward caches show individuality and greater responsibility. Get a clear idea of potential capabilities. A friend of mine, who runs a recruitment agency, recently said, before sending any applicant to our client, we check how the applicant feels about the current job. If the applicant says that even though his current job isn't something he's passionate about, his work is important, then we feel good about him. Why? The reason is simple. If the applicant feels that his current job is important, he is likely to want to do his next job well. We have observed a strong relationship between respect for people's work and receiving credit. Just like your appearance, your attitude towards work will form a clear impression on your superiors, colleagues and subordinates who come in contact with you. A few months ago I spent several hours with a friend of mine. Bhuni is the personnel director of a machine manufacturing company. As we were discussing building people, he explained his personnel monitoring system. He explained what he had learned from that system. We have about 800 workers in departments other than production, he began. In our worker monitoring system, every month I know if a worker is green. We want to know how we can help them in their work. We think it's a good practice because everyone working with us is important, otherwise why would we pay them month to month? One thing we are careful about is that the worker is never asked a direct question. And we give them the opportunity to talk about whatever they want. We want their honest opinion. After each interview, we assess the workers' views and attitudes towards a particular work topic on a form, fill in. One thing I learned, he said, is that workers can be divided into two groups according to their attitude to work. Group A and Group A. Team B employees mostly talk about safety. They ask about the company's retirement plan, sick leave policy, additional vacation, what are we doing to improve the insurance program, and whether we have to work more in March this year like last year. They also talk a lot about the unsatisfactory aspects of their work, the things they dislike about colleagues. This is Group B workers, except production. 80% of the total workers in other departments belong to this group, considering it an essential part of their job. The teamer employee, however, sees his work differently. He is curious about the future and wants to know the way forward. He expects nothing more from us than the opportunity to work. People in team understand the bigger picture. They offer suggestions to improve the business. This is what they think is constructive, while the workers of Team B think this is just brainwashing, and they want to get rid of it. I now have a clear understanding of the importance of checking employee attitudes and their relationship to job success. An employee's direct supervisor makes all kinds of recommendations for promotions and special benefits. Almost always I see group or employees being recommended for positions. And it was definitely found that Group B caused the most problems. The biggest challenge in my work, he said, is the team bringing its employees to Group A. But the task is not so easy, because until the worker understands the importance of his work and wants to improve, it is impossible to help him. There is clear evidence that whatever you think of yourself as, your thinking will lead you in the right direction, you will become. If you feel weak, incapable, if you think you are going to fail, feel like you're second class, then you've become very ordinary. So believe that, I matter. Succeed in me. All qualities are there. My work is important. I am the best employee of the first class. If you think like this, you will surely succeed. The only way to reach your desired goal in life is to be optimistic about yourself. Others will judge your performance based on your performance. And your thoughts control your actions. You become what you think you are. Imagine yourself in the role of a supervisor for a few moments, asking yourself what kind of people you want a raise or promotion. Is the secretary engrossed in the pages or the secretary who puts forward small tasks to facilitate the work of the executive? 2. The employee who says, if they don't like what I'm doing, I'll get another job, or the employee who listens to criticism and makes constructive changes, striving to improve the job. 3. The salesman who tells the customer, I'm just following orders. We've been sent to find out if you want anything, or the salesman who asks, Mr. Brown, what can I do for you? 4. The foreman who tells the employee, I don't like this job at all. My superiors just sit back and give orders. I can't understand them better. Or the supervisor who says, every job has its pros and cons. But remember one thing, the superiors are our well-wishers. Not surprisingly, many remain at the same level throughout their lives. Their thinking does not allow them to progress. An executive in the advertising world once told me how his company provides continuous training to new, inexperienced guys. We think as a company policy, he said, the best initial training for young guys, fresh graduates, is to put them to work delivering mail. We are the children who studied in college for 4 years. Want to put our main objective is that our boys get an opportunity to learn and know about the various activities of the agency by doing this kind of work. After getting to know each other well, we give him the responsibility of the postal service, not because of the new job. Sometimes it happens that a young man, despite being taught the purpose of teaching by a postman, finds the postman's work trivial and inadequate to his education. Then we understand that the wrong boys have been employed. For if he can deliver the postman, if they don't understand, they have no future in our agency if they don't consider this bill to be the first step toward taking on urgent responsibilities in the future. Remember, what the worker will do when he reaches that particular level. Before seeking answers to the question, executives ask the employee, how is he fulfilling his current responsibilities? Looking for his answer. Presenting some simple arguments. Read it at least 5 times. One who realizes the importance of his work. He gets inspiration from his mind to do his work better. And the best work, I mean beautiful work. More promotion, more money, more respect, more happiness. We all may have noticed that babies outgrow their mothers very quickly. Mimics behaviors, attitudes, habits, fears and preferences. Likes and dislikes in food, habits or behavior, opinions on religion and politics or on other subjects. Children become living reflections of their parents, guardians' thoughts. By imitating and following them, the child learns about the world at any time. But so do adults. People imitate others all their lives. They follow their group leader or supervisor, having a clear influence on their thinking and actions. This is easily verified. The compatibility of thought and action of any of your friends and their officials is particularly noticeable. Your friend may imitate his boss or other peers in these matters: speech and word choice, cigarette smoking habit, facial expression and mannerisms, clothing and car preferences, and many more. Another way to check for imitation is to compare the behavior of the employee with the behavior of the boss. If the employee is nervous or worried, his close colleagues will also be similar. In other words, our attitude towards work also affects the attitude of our subordinates. Our subordinates' attitude towards work is a direct reflection of our own attitude towards work. It must be remembered that just as the behavior of the parents affects the behavior of the child, so our qualities and weaknesses are reflected in the behavior of our subordinates. Enthusiasm. A typical characteristic of successful people is, did the store's enthusiastic salesperson talk you into making the customer interested in the product? Or the audience of a yajna or any other speaker full of enthusiasm is aware and enthusiastic like him? If you are full of enthusiasm, your surroundings, it will be so encouraging, is active people too. But how to stimulate this enthusiasm? Bonyari is very simple: to stimulate thinking. Make yourself optimistic, progressive, think, feels great, I'm 100% ready. You become what you think you are. Feeling motivated will make you really motivated. Must have enthusiasm and interest to perform best quality work. Others will be inspired by your enthusiasm, you will get excellent work. But what will your subordinates do if you go wrong, cheat the company in money, product supply, time and other minor matters? Will the rest of the team learn from the habit of coming to work late every day and leaving early? Our subordinates will also be devoted to their work if they see our devotion to work. It has a huge advantage. Our superiors judge us by the quantity and quality of work we can procure from our subordinates. Think of it this way: who would you nominate as a divisional sales manager? The branch sales manager whose salesmen are doing a great job, or the branch sales manager whose employees are doing mediocre work? Or who would you nominate as a production manager? The supervisor's department that achieves goals, or the supervisor's department that falls behind? 2 ways to make others work harder for you. 1. Have a healthy, optimistic attitude towards work, and your subordinates will have a similar attitude. Every day, while working, ask yourself, am I worthy of imitation? Will I be happy if my subordinates follow my way of doing things? Encourage yourself several times a day. Several months ago, a car salesman told me about his new car. It is a novel method. Read on. 2 hours a day, said the salesman, that is, the bulk of my career is spent making appointments to show the product to potential customers. When I first started selling cars 3 years ago, this was my biggest problem. I was a little scared, hesitant. I knew my tone sounded hesitant * even on the phone. So the listeners at the other end would easily hang up the phone saying, "No," to my face. At that time every Monday our sales manager would call a meeting. I was motivated, I liked it, and not only that, I could organize more demonstrations on Mondays than on other days. The problem was that this motivation on Mondays, died on Tuesdays and then on the rest of the days. Reaching would run out of reach. Then I got an idea. If the sales manager me, why I can't motivate myself? 49 Don't motivate yourself before making urgent phone calls. I thought, let's try. Without saying anything to anyone, I went to where the car was parked, found an empty car, and talked to myself for several minutes. I said to myself, I'm good at cars, I'm going to be the best. I sell well, the customer makes a profit. I'll call anyone who needs a car, I'll sell them. From the first day, that motivation with me. It was visible. I felt so good, I shook all the hesitation from my mind when I called. I was eager to call, and now like that day I sat in an empty car to motivate myself. But that's the method I still use today. I still remind myself when I call, I'm a great salesman, I'll be honest, and I will. The tone of the conversation. Good idea, right? To reach the top is to realize the feeling of reaching the top. Encourage yourself, you will see how much stronger you will feel. Was conducting a training session recently. A beginner gave such an awkward presentation that he was asked to discuss for 10 minutes about everyone becoming a demonstrator. His hands and feet were shaking. He forgot the content of his speech. After 5-6 minutes, he sat down in despair. At the end of the session I called him and said only one thing. I asked him to come 15 minutes before the session. He kept his promise, came 15 minutes early for the next session. We both sat down and discussed the awkwardness of the previous day. I asked him to remember what he was thinking just 5 minutes before presenting his speech in the discussion of the last session. I was probably thinking that was too scary. I knew there would be a mess. I knew I wouldn't be able to speak properly. I kept thinking, who am I to talk about leadership? I can't. Well, I said, that's the solution to your problem. You were breaking your own spirit right up until the moment before you presented your speech. Convincing yourself that you will fail. Is it any wonder that filled square you have failed? Instead of building courage and morale, you were indulging fear. Now listen, I said, in 4 minutes today's meeting starts. I want you to increase your enthusiasm for the next few minutes. Go to the room next to the hall and say to yourself, I will give a good speech. I have something to tell the audience about an important matter. Say these words repeatedly with complete devotion. Then the conference. Come into the room and make your point. If you had been there that day, you might have realized the impact of those words. As a result of that small, self-motivated speech, he gave a wonderful speech that day. Advice. Practice uplifting self-praise. To punish oneself by convicting oneself, to prove oneself inferior. Don't make a habit of doing it. You are what you think you are. If you have a good opinion about yourself, you can reach the top. Create ads that sell yourself to yourself. I will come. Let's think for a moment about America's most popular product, Coca-Cola. Every day your eyes or ears see or hear good news about Coke. The manufacturer of Coca-Cola is selling you Coke over and over again. There is a reason for that. If they buck this upsell, you may become indifferent to Coke, which will reduce sales. But Coca-Cola company will not let that happen. They will sell you Coke again and again. Every day we come in contact with many people who are half-lives who have not been able to sell themselves to themselves. It does not respect its own most important product, its own existence. Apathetic to this, they feel insignificant. Because they think themselves insignificant, they become insignificant in reality. These half-dead people must learn to sell and resell themselves to themselves. He must consider himself a first-class man. He must have genuine, sincere confidence in himself. A young boy named Tom Staley is making rapid progress. Tom regularly sells himself to himself 3 times a day. Named the Tom Stallo 60-second ad. This ad is specially made for him and he always keeps it with him. It contains, "This is Tom Staley, a very important figure. Tom, you are ambitious, big ass. Do think big about everything. You have the ability to perform at your best, so do your best. Tom, you believe in joy, progress, prosperity. So, speak only pleasant words. Just talk about progress. Just talk about prosperity. You can do a lot. Tom, you can do a lot. Use your infinite power. Nothing can stand in your way. Nothing can get in the way. Tom, you are enthusiastic, bring that enthusiasm to your work. You are handsome, Tom has an attractive personality, you are happy. Stay like this. Tom Staley, you were great yesterday, be better today. Be the best Tom. Wake up, move on. According to Tom, he credits advertising for becoming more successful and efficient. Before I started selling myself, says Tom, I used to think I was inferior. Now I know I have the winning qualities, so I'm winning. I always will. The way to create an ad to sell yourself is to first find your special qualities. What qualities make me the best? Don't hesitate to describe yourself. Now make up your own ad. Talk to Tom directly. Just speak to yourself, don't worry about anyone else when you advertise yourself. On the 3rd day, read the advertisement aloud to yourself at least once a day. It is best to do this while standing in front of a mirror. Bring that excitement to the body. Strong show, emphasis. Read again, you will feel the speed of the blood pulse. Self-stimulating with very advertising. Pick up 4th, read the ad in your mind several times a day. Read this before facing a difficult situation. Always keep the ad handy and use it. Now one thing. Many, perhaps most people, will laugh at this art of success. Because they do not believe that success lies in the correct management of thoughts. But don't listen to the words of those ordinary people. You are not ordinary. If you have the slightest doubt about self-marketing advertising, ask the opinion of a successful person. Ask him, understand the merits and then sell yourself to him. Improve your thinking, think like important people. Improving your thinking will improve your work, you will be successful. A few simple ways to think like important people can make you successful too. Use the form below as a guide. Situation. If worried, ask yourself, did any important personality bother about this? Does the successful person I know think about this? What will he actually do with such an idea of an important personality? When new growth comes to mind. My face. Does my face seem the most respectable of all? 4. Applying my language. What are you talking about in the language of successful people? My subject. Will any important people read it? The conversation. What will successful people talk about? If angry. Will important people be angry because I am angry? 8. My smile. Will any important personality laugh like this? 1. My work. How would an important person describe their work? Ask this question in your mind. Do important people act like this? Become a bigger, more successful person with these questions. In short, remember, make yourself important. It will help you think like an important person. Your face speaks to you. So look, may improve your mood, increase your self-confidence. Your appearance speaks to the rest. So let your face say, this gentleman is an important figure, trustworthy, he is intelligent, prudent and 2. Make your work important. If you think like this, you will get the morale to do better. If you start your own work, your subordinates will also realize the importance of their work. 3. Encourage yourself several times a day. Prepare yourself and add to sell your kit. Inform yourself whenever you get a chance. You are the best, pure human being. 4. In any situation in life, ask yourself, is this how important people think? Then act accordingly.